Hello, I'm Zardas, and let's talk trading. So, tonight I'm going to talk you through about 5 different companies that I am looking at on and following on my watch list, as well as take you through the Spiders weekly chart. But before we do that, let's take a moment. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can follow along with my updates and my chart analysis of the stock market and follow along on my trading journey. So hit that subscribe button. Now, anyway, moving on to the spider first, what we're going to look at, this is the weekly chart, and you can see we had going back all the way to about mid-2020, after the big drop last year from the start of the pandemic. We had a lower high, then a higher low, and we hit a higher high, and then you can see it started to take off here when we hit a lower high, then a higher low, and then we came right back up. And it was like we hit these other highs, but we kept hitting higher lows, and that was a good sign. And then we got to be going up on an extended upward trend, and that's where we are now. We are continuing that higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and now we are at all-time highs. We're definitely at another higher high, but the question is, how high is it going to go? And so that's when we use the Fibonacci extension markers. And so we can see now that maybe we're at 453.08 at close, which is, zoom in here, higher than the 0.618 level. So the next Fibonacci line is 0.786, which would be at 456.32. That would be the next point where we should see major resistance here. And at the same time, you can see the RSI is getting higher and higher. So I would suspect, and kind of what I'm expecting to see happen, is that we're going to get pretty close to that mark, and then we might come back down. Now, let's take a look really quick at the average true range for the SPY. So the average true range right now, the volatility of the ETF is going down here, and we're down to 9.19. So if we take 9.19 above where we're at now, which is 454, if we go 9 above that, that'd be 463. So, I mean, we could make it all the way up here, but I don't think we will. I mean, we'd really be pushing it. If we go that far up, then we definitely would hit a lot of resistance there. One last thing to look at here is my script, and you can see that we are inside the Bollinger Band. It's rare that the SPY gets above that, and if it does, you can really expect that. I mean, here it hit it, came down. Here it was above it, it came down. It really, if it pushes that Bollinger Band, it really doesn't stay there very long. And so I think, I mean, that's another thing that will put pressure on here. That will go up some more. But I think this week, 456 is probably going to be our peak. Okay, now on to the individual companies for the week. Let's take a look at Apple first. We are hitting higher high, higher low, higher high, and then we kind of went into the kind of last fall, a bit of a flat time. But again, just like with the SPY, we were hitting higher lows each time, which really signified that this was not the start of a downward trend. It was more of a triangle that had developed, it kind of seems. Then we went up and we hit a new higher high, like higher than this one. But not quite higher than here. I think we were 137.98, 137 or 138.79. So it was actually higher than that one, which really signified that it was an upward trend. And when we hit a higher low here, it was easy to break through that and get up higher. Then we came back down, and then higher, lower high, which really, you had a lower low and a lower high, made it seem like maybe we were about to see a downward trend again on Apple. But we hit a higher low, and then came up, hit a higher high, higher low again, and now we're at all-time highs again and a higher high. So like with the SPY, we're left to look at the Fibonacci lines to figure out where we might see resistance. And we're seeing high RSI, like on the SPY, but not too high. I mean, here, it got higher in the fall of last year. Apple has the capacity to go a bit higher, and that really is a momentum indicator. And you can see we're going up, and the moving average is moving across the longer term moving average too. So that really indicates that there may be a bit more momentum coming. The same thing here, you can see momentum is trending upwards, and the MACD is trending upwards. I think it could go higher, and we're going to maybe see 158. Let's take a look at the average true range for Apple. We have 6.04. If we go sips above where we closed, which was 154.98, we could get up to 160, which would be here. And again, that would be just a little bit above where I think we might go. So, I mean, we could come down a little bit, and then there'd be a little bit of room to make it up to there. That might be our range. Looking at my script, again, we are within the Bollinger Band, so we have capacity there to continue to rise, and that is good to see as well. Moving on to many people's favorite stock this year, AMC. We had a pretty much, I mean, in 2020, lower high, higher low. Is that higher? Yeah, higher than that one. Higher high, lower low, lower high. Then it kind of seemed like it was on a downtrend, lower low, and then all of a sudden it hit a higher high, and then a higher low, and then it kind of filtered off a little bit there. And then once again, we kept hitting these higher lows each time, and that kind of gave the upward pressure. And we went up here, higher high, higher low, lower high. Then we started hitting lower stuff, and now we've hit a higher high. It may be the indication that now we're starting to go up, but it also could just be an anomaly. So we are at a higher high. This week we did not surpass last week, so it'll be interesting to see where we go from here. And we have the yellow lines here. I'll be watching when I go to the hourly or daily charts. And these yellow lines will indicate which direction we're going. That is the high from last week and the low from last week. Then we have the green line is the previous high in the trend, and the red is the previous low in the trend. Looking at RSI, we are still kind of maybe trending upward. We're kind of in that unknown zone where the purple line is the current RSI, and then the red is a short-term moving average, and the blue is the long-term moving average. It's not quite clear which direction that is going. Momentum is currently negative and is trending a little bit negative. Even though we're moving upwards, we have that moving average trending down. MACD is also in the negative range, so it would not surprise me to see AMC come down here, and it would be fine. If you're bullish, then it's fine for it to come down a little bit more, as long as it doesn't go below the previous lower low. If it comes down and then sets a higher low, that would be a really good indication for it to go up higher and beyond that previous high here. Now, looking at the average true range for AMC, we're at 9.7 sips. So if we take about 10 from the high, that would put us at 57, which is way up here. I think what may be more likely is that we may trade like this. We may come up a little bit, maybe to 40 sips, and then we're going to come down, perhaps all the way down to 30 sips. That is what I kind of expect to happen, is maybe we're on a little bit of a down before heading back up. Now, taking a look at my script, we are again inside the Bollinger Bands, which are huge for Apple, or not Apple, AMC, because we had that huge upswing there. But we do see the moving average above the longer term ones. So that indicates that we may be on an upswing as well, or like we're still trending upwards there. Now, Big Five Sporting Goods Corporation, we've been on an upward trend for a while now, and we just started to establish a new, potentially upward trend here. And we have RSI momentum going upwards. We have this momentum going upwards. We have MACD about to cross. I think we could see a pretty big, like a continued upward trend here before we come back down on this one. Taking a look at the average true range here, we have 4.32. So if we go from the high here, or the close, 35, 45, we could get up to 39, but it may be more likely that we start to push this high here, and that would be at 37.75. So that may be what we're looking at. So that would be what I would be expecting for the range, although that is 4.3. So, I mean, we'd have to come down to here. Oh, you know what? Actually, we want to go from the close here, 31.61. So I don't know that we'll get there. I think we'll be in this range. We might not quite reach that high from this past week. On my script, we are up a bit here, and we have room to continue to grow up this way. So I think that is what I would expect, is we might make it in this range here. Taking a look at Express Inc., we hit a higher high, higher low, then a huge upswing there. It seems like an anomaly. Then it down, higher low, lower high, because of that, how high that one was. Then higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Then a lower low. And now we hit a lower high. These do not indicate, like this really seems like it may be the start of a downtrend. We'll see what happens with that. RSI momentum is starting to go down. Momentum here is starting to go down, and MACD is about to be a downward cross as well. So that one definitely seems like it may be down this week. Now, the question is, how far down? Average true range is 1.35. If we go from the close, that would be about 4. So we could get all the way down to here, to the lower low from before. And if it drops below that, then it will really establish this as a downward trend on the weekly chart. Now, looking at my script, we're starting to push a little bit of that moving average. And if we go below that, it would also be a bearish sign. Last one for the week, Ford Motor Company. We were on an upward trend, then we hit a higher high here, and then we started to hit a lower high here at the end of July, and now we hit a lower low, and that really may be the trend we're on now. I mean, we're seeming to be on a downward trend. RSI momentum is down, momentum itself is down, MACD is trending downwards. I think that one could continue to go down. And again, the question is, how far down? We have average true range of 1.01. If we go down, that could be about 11.8. I mean, that would be pretty low. That would push through the lower low. I think it's more likely that we may see something in this range, like 13 to 12. And again, still push through that lower low. And here we have crossed below the EMA here, the moving average, and now we're definitely trending downwards. But so those are some of the companies I am looking at this week, and kind of what I'm watching and what I expect them to do. Let me know what you're watching in the comments below, and I hope you stick around and hit that subscribe button to catch more videos. Thanks for watching. Take care.